Hi, all of our Foyer family. It is so great to see everyone. Thank you for joining. I am really excited to be back. It's 2024. We're doing our live sessions again, the Foyer Talks, where we're talking to interior designers that have collaborated with us on social media and that are out there doing all the amazing things with Foyer Neo. So I'm really excited to introduce today Evelyn of Elevate Your Vision, Design Vision. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on, and then we will introduce her and learn all about her. 1 second. I'm so happy everybody's here. Elevate Your Vision. All right, hopefully she's able to join us. Hi, everyone. Hi, Harmony. Hi, Ram. Let's see. Let's try her again. Do you give Foyer Neo sessions also? Somewhat. We did a online workshop all about a specific design principle, and we did that at the end of 2023. So that is in the talks for later on in 2024. Let me see. Oh, here we go. She requested us. She's unable to join. Well, here we go. One more time. Hi from India. It's so neat. Hi from Maryland. Hey there, Evelyn.
Hi.
Hi, it's so nice
Good
to see
morning.
you.
Likewise.
Let me
I
just
say good
move
morning
this.
because it's 10 o'clock my time, Pacific time. Not sure what time is it with you.
So I'm East Coast, so 1 p.m. here, 10 a.m.
Oh,
there.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, good afternoon.
good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be back and doing our live sessions again and talking with amazing designers like yourself who are Foyer Neos. And that's kind of what we want to do with you today, is talk to you about your experience with Foyer, what, all the things. But before we jump into that, tell us about yourself and how you got
Absolutely.
started, where you brought in Neo, and just what's your design style too.
Perfect. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for your time for Neo. This is an honor. I am super grateful to be here and speak with all of you. So, just to start off, my name is Evelyn, and I've been an interior designer a little over 5 years now. My business name is Elevate Your Vision Design. And let me start off by telling you a little bit of my journey, how all this started. And this happened back in 2019 when right before pandemic hit. That's when my journey started. My backstory is very unique. So prior to jumping as an interior designer, I was in law enforcement, and,
That,
and
which is crazy to think. Police officer to interior designer.
right, it's like it's like a whole different
Right.
ball game, a whole world, night and day. However, obviously I knew that was a calling, being interior designer since before, being a police officer. I knew as a kid I wanted, even being, living with my parents, I remember like hand drawing of like floor plans and how I wanted to lay out my room. And then I would present it to my parents like, okay, I want to like change out my entire room. Like I want this color. I want to do this.
That's so funny.
So it was always in me, but I grew up, I figured I needed, what like a typical
Mm-hmm.
career, with benefits, retirement, whatnot. So I did end up, going towards another career path, and that's when I jumped into law enforcement. And yes, so I was in the field, out patrolling for 5 years before I decided to jump in interior design. So As I was in the field as a police officer, unfortunately, my dad was diagnosed with cancer,
Mhm.
and it was I went through a lot, that period of time where my dad was, battling it for a while, and then unfortunately he didn't make it. He
That's
did
right.
pass away. Yes, it was really tough.
Mhm.
This happened in
Mhm.
2019. So I like literally, like I said, like it had been like a couple months before pandemic hit. And I went into deep depression. I felt like I couldn't do law enforcement anymore because that's something my dad and myself shared together. So knowing that, like, I was just grieving, going through a lot of pain and depression, I knew like there was something I had to do to
Mhm.
turn that pain around and do something. And, just thinking, what's the plan B? I can't pull the plug and leave this amazing career without a plan B.
Right.
And, prayed so much. And I was very fortunate to have a really good team, a good support in law enforcement. My sergeant, when I told him like my plans, he said, by all means, I support you. So literally
Oh,
I was out there in the streets, literally out there in the streets patrolling and taking online courses on my downtime.
that's
And that's how
amazing.
I jumped into
Good for
design.
you.
Yes, I literally was like, okay, I have to keep providing for my family. In the
Mhm.
meantime, I have my plan B going.
Right.
So I'm out there working,
So you're a
trying to.
smart businesswoman.
I had to,
Yes.
with the baby at home, and now with like my dad not being there to help my mom, like I knew like I had this big role
Mhm.
to take over. So, but I had amazing support. That was the thing, that while I was out there still with my career, my schedule was 4 10s.
Right.
I was diving into courses. I officially finished my interior design course. I became official, and that's when I decided to launch business, Elevate Your Vision Design.
Yay.
And I would say I started like a part timer because I still had my normal
Mhm.
career, and slowly but surely I had my first client literally when I started my business. I had my first client 2 weeks in.
Oh my
And
God.
the funny part is that when I started my business, the first thing I signed up was Foyer Neo and House Pro.
Oh my
So
gosh. How
House
funny.
Pro, yes, House Pros where I had my first lead, my first official full service
That's
client, and then I
awesome.
was already fully prepared. So I was already trying to figure out, okay, if I
Hmm.
get a client, what am I going to do? How am I going to use my render? What am I going to use for renderings?
Right.
Everything was, I was preparing when the time came,
Right.
and everything, it just came all perfectly aligned. And once the client came in, I was ready. I had all my tools. I had already been playing with Foyer Neo, and then I had a lot of full support with Foyer because I had already been playing with Foyer, and I had a lot of one-on-one calls with Foyer support. So, with that being said, I cannot speak highly about Foyer. I'm going on 5 years now that I've been using Foyer Neo.
That's awesome. So how
Yes,
has it, obviously you saw there was a need to
correct.
deliver something visual to your clients. And I guess this is a
Absolutely.
twofold question. One, how do you feel like that, helped you communicate with your clients? And two, what did you see as the end result with being able to deliver 3D renderings like Neo provides?
Right. So part of my process, I have like my virtual design, services, and then I have my in person.
Mhm.
From virtual all the way down to my full service, I've used my Foyer Neo for my renderings for every project. There is no way around it. That's the way I deliver my work, and I'm confident. I could confidently say that that's how I won almost 99% of all my clientele, because I showcased my portfolio and I showed them, this is what you get,
Right.
besides mood boards. That is all, a good start, but ultimately I wanted to provide
Right.
quality. And that's where what I right away I saw from Foyer, number one, me being a new designer, I needed something that I could understand and have fully
Right.
support. So the full support was already with Foyer. I didn't have to spend thousands of dollars to know how to do SketchUp and other. I know there's a full, handful of other things that you could use, but with Foyer, everything was already like perfectly aligned for me. I had the
Mhm.
support. So with that being said, like I knew I wanted something quality. And when I provided my clients with with my portfolio, this is a rendering. This is what you get in every packet. They were mind blown. They didn't even realize it was a rendering. They thought it was a real space, like
Right.
a photographer who did a photo shoot. And I'm like, no, this is just a rendering, but this is how you will visualize, and you can see what you're going to get before we start doing any remodeling, any demoing, purchasing. You see
Mhm.
everything before we jump into that. So just having that presentation to all my clients, they're like, I'm in, I'm
Yeah.
sold. This is amazing. It's what we're looking for. Other people had other, like, I would say, bad experiences, and they said this is what was lacking in other areas that I was looking for. And I want to say that because of that reason, like I have not even looked anywhere else. Like Foyer is like where I'm confident to do all my work,
Right.
and my clients are so happy. So I don't want to. I'm perfect where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had that same experience as well with, my clients in that I, where I find it being so beneficial is you're removing any room for error or misunderstandings or, well, I thought it was going to be like this and you
Correct.
said, and what you're saying may not be translated in their world, they're not understanding you,
Yes.
um, apples to apples.
Correct. And
So,
the beautiful thing too, what I do, the majority of my clients, especially when it's like virtual, we do like a 30-minute, 40-minute, like literally one-on-one. So we'll jump on something similar what we're doing right
mhm,
now. So it's live. I open up my foyers, what I'm working on, and we work, on their 3D rendering together.
that's
So I
awesome.
present, and then I'm like, okay, I know you mentioned you wanted to change a few things. Let's do it together. So we
Hmm.
have like 40 minutes of just one-on-one, and we're working together. And then I show them realistically how, what it's going to look like,
Right.
and everything's happening at the moment. So there's no delays, and it's
That's awesome.
beautiful. It works great for me.
Right. And I mean, that's got to make a client feel really special and really just, honed in on from your perspective. Whereas, they could potentially feel like they don't hear me or they don't understand me or I'm just another
Right.
number, and the fact that you're taking them into their digital, space
Right.
is really cool.
Yes, and then they start to understand exactly like how you're working. So
Hmm.
a lot of people think it's just like, oh, can you just do a quick sketch or a quick render? Like they know the details and how long it takes
Right.
to, just do a room. Like it's details. All the details matter. So they start understanding like what we do behind the
Hmm.
scenes, which that's what I love. I love to be transparent and having them understand. So we are working together
Right.
as a team.
Right. Well, being a former police officer, I'm sure they could trust you.
Yes, and you know that that's the beauty of it.
Right.
It's the beauty that the majority of my clients have came even in the same area that I used to patrol, which is so funny.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
I don't like to tell them until the end. I'm like, okay, by the way, let me just say I was a former, and then they're like, oh, they feel so much better. So I'm like,
Right.
it works.
That's
They
wonderful.
know they're in good
Yes,
hands.
exactly.
Yes.
So, how do you, I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. We're coming up on about 15 minutes. And so, I wanted to, get a few fun questions from you. Tell us what you're loving right now and what you're not loving as far as trends.
Oh my goodness. So right now, and it's funny that you mentioned because right now I'm about to dive into a new project, which is a home theater project.
Oh,
Yes, it's I won't talk about it too much because it's just the
mhm.
beginning phases. So I want everyone to kind of like walk through like process work, as we go. But right now, the inspirational on the home trends that we're doing right now in the theater. We we're bringing a lot of like the under like brown undertones
Mm-hmm.
with natural coloring, but bringing in the modern in it too.
Right.
So we're what I'm doing right now is I want to keep, so this home has a lot of the like Italian feels.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm keeping the integrity of the home, you know, how it's originally built, but we're bringing in the modern touches into the entire space. So starting from the home
Wow.
theater. So right now, even though, you know, there's the ins and outs with the Browns, we are utilizing it in a very, very, you know, specific
Mm-hmm.
way. We're bringing in the naturals, but also keeping, you know, what the home already has,
Right.
bringing in the modern in. And so we're already in that visual, like in that design stage right now, where everything we're bringing in and creating like the first fundamentals of
Mm-hmm.
it. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to share
That's
with everybody what it's
awesome.
ultimately going to become. But it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be unique. I know there's a lot of trends, ins and outs, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, I always tell everybody, don't fall in love with just the trend right now. You know, there's a lot of factors that come into play, not just, you know, fall in love with what the trend is.
Right.
There's a lot of different
Right.
factors in with your home and keeping the what, especially like where you live, the area, and and your home. There's a lot of unique things that you have to keep
Right.
to allow the whole house to kind of flow
Right.
together.
And you're talking about, keeping the integrity of the home as it exists, but then you're transitioning it to something modern. Like in my mind, I'm only thinking, wow, like what an amazing platform Neo is to do that, because you could say keeping integrity and moving to a modern look and feel, like that would be so confusing for a client. But in
Right.
that, you being able to take advantage of the product catalog that they
Yes.
have, where there could be really unique antique type elements of furniture, textures that you're putting in, and
Right.
then bringing in what is new and modern on top of that, and then being able to say,
Right.
here,
And you know,
Mr. and Mrs.
everyone,
Client,
we're
like,
all visuals. We're all
right,
visuals. And if you're, whatever you're explaining, you know, in your words, they're just like,
just show me, just show
yeah,
me.
that they can't put it together. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a visual learner. So, of
Mhm.
course, like my clients want to see exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. So I'll just, I'll end it on that note, because I think what you said was very telling. And I've heard all of my folks that I've interviewed, all the different designers, they say the same exact thing. They say they can't visualize it. They can't. And that is
Exactly.
hard for us to maybe wrap our head around as designers, because it's easy for us, but it just goes to show you need something to deliver, a visual to deliver. And
Absolutely.
so, if you're not having had that 4 or 5 years of AutoCAD or SketchUp experience and training, Foyer Neo is exactly what you're looking for,
Absolutely.
because I didn't have that, and I learned how to do it in 30 minutes. And same
Yes.
experience with the support and my clients just being blown away. And so,
And the
um, yeah, isn't it
walkthrough feature.
amazing?
The walkthrough feature is amazing. I've
Right.
done a whole design presentation with that walkthrough feature, and they feel like they're in their
Mhm.
space, like everything's already done. It
Right.
feels so real. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a plus.
Well, I bet they will love that as you walk them through the new movie theater and, work
Yes,
on your
so
projects. So,
excited.
was there
Thank you
anything
so
else that you would like
much.
to share before we close out?
Well, I know. I just want to thank everybody for their time, for, you know, listening a little bit of my background. Everybody has their story, and this is my story.
Yep.
It's very, you know, it's sometimes it's hard to open up. So a lot of people don't really know
Hmm.
exactly my background and how I became an interior designer. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that you had gave me that opportunity, and for the
Oh,
ones that are here
yeah.
listening that heard me open up something that is very touchy. Thank you for everybody. And if you want to follow my journey, follow my upcoming projects, go ahead and follow Elevate Your Vision Design, and I'm more than happy to share everybody my projects and my journey.
Oh, well, it was so wonderful to meet you, Evelyn. I'm a
Thank
California
you.
native, despite living in Maryland, so you hold a very dear place in my heart, being out there on the West Coast. But
Oh,
thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is Christy Began
thank
Patterson
you.
of the Homes Journey. So go check out my stuff too. Thank you, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you, Christy. You have a
take
good
care.
day.
Bye,
Bye.
Evelyn.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
See ya, everybody.